This is James's breakfast. Garlic toast, some eggs, baba ganoush. And I'm going to be talking about these books, Cute Birds to Make with Needle Felting, and they are very cute birds, and the paint pouring workshop. So I'm not going to try to set them up because they'll just fall over. They're thin. And both are very easy to do. You can follow this. Now, having said that, this book is far superior to this book, even though I'm more interested in paint pouring. It's just not a very good book. It's okay. So,
well, you've done some awesome paint pouring.
I've done better than yeah.
Probably. I haven't seen what's in there. This one on the cover is pretty good, but you've done some representational stuff that's way better. Like your picture of Elijah is awesome. So
I can do actual people. Yeah. And I can make them recognizable with pouring medium. I haven't seen anybody else be able to do that or try. Most people just go for the pure abstract, which it's awesome for that, but it's awesome if you can mix the two. If you can put that abstract and mix it in so that you can actually recognize something. Otherwise, it's just pretty wallpaper, essentially. And
sometimes things aren't really abstract at all. It's just you get a sense of movement. Like you did that one with Elijah, that's what you got. Yeah. It was him playing on a playground thing.
Yeah, so he was spinning.
And it's just like really vibrant.
Right? And I mean, you get rich color with this pouring medium.
It's amazing color on that one too.
And so, you get the bright color, so it's like a playground, right? And you get the movement. So it was perfect for this medium.
And you've got varying degrees of abstraction. It's not as though it's one or the other. Yeah. It's like it's on a scale.
Yeah.
And I guess it's how rich you mix it, and also just how much you tilt it or whatever you do with it, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, okay. So anyway, definitely get this book from your public library. This Cute Birds to Make, very cute birds to make, and anyone could do it with the instructions given in here. The author, Miwa Utsunomiya.
Yeah, it's I've never seen a Japanese name like that, but I think it's Japanese.
Excellent instructions. Very well put together book. Anybody could follow this, and they should, because those birds are awesome.
You know, when I first looked at them, when I first came, I thought they were real birds. You know, just a glance
she did such a good job, and you could do this too with the instructions laid out here. Very, very well done instructions. I am so impressed with this book. Now. And the birds. The art is good, and the book to tell you how to do the art is good. So now the paint pouring techniques. This is a basic thing. You tilt. Now, okay, I'm going to say one thing about this woman. Although she shows how to use different, like painting, using pouring medium to color a vase, or to she puts it on a picture frame, or record. Where's the record? Anyway, it's in here somewhere. But there it is. So there's the record. She makes it into a clock, which is
that one
interesting.
Is very nice. Yeah. That one's very good.
But although it is good, I have to say.
So she has that record flat then, does she?
She does. She's plugged up the hole, and then she's just tilting it, right? So that she gets it the coverage she wants. But I have, I watched, what do you call it? I don't know. I think it was a PBS thing about an artist. You know how they do those little artists? Like, remember Bruce did a little thing. He wanted to put a show on or whatever.
Oh, it's on. Yeah, I mean, it's on the internet.
Okay, well, whatever. So,
it's quite good. He did a good job.
Okay. But he wanted to put it on like something like PBS, I think, right? I mean, must have been what he was.
I don't know if that worked out for him. But,
I don't know. Anyway, but this guy who was using pouring medium that I saw a long time ago, he was using something that was like like a pottery wheel for ceramics, only he could tilt it this way too to get the pouring medium, so he could get it spinning. So I'm looking at the record thing and I'm like, it's built for spinning, but she doesn't do that. She doesn't use a turntable. And there's got to be 1,000 turntables out there that really don't play junk, music, right? But they spin.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know why she didn't do that, honestly. I mean, she's using a record.
If you got an old one, it had 45 different speeds, various.
Yeah. So anyway, there's an idea. Actually use a turntable with that record before you turn her into a clock. Anyway.
Oh, I thought that's what she was doing.
No, it wasn't.
She just gets a record and spins it around?
No, she didn't even really do that much. She just tilts it.
Oh, she just tilts it.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's how she gets this sort of thing.
Yeah.
No, I thought she was doing. No. I figured out exactly what you had figured out, right?
It's obvious.
Yeah.
Not to her.
Because
anyway, she does.
What happens is when you spin something, it heads away from the center.
Yeah.
If it's a fluid. No.
And she does do some interesting pours. But she mixes her paints in plastic cups, which that's economical and easy. When you buy the pouring medium, if you're gonna buy it to actually, like if you're just buying it to test it, you buy it in little containers and then you're like, wow, that was expensive. If you actually buy it to use it, it's still expensive, but you buy it in great big buckets. That's the only way to buy it, to use it for art, because it's much more economical and there's enough there to actually do something with it. So she has it in the cups and it's easier to pour. Like pouring from the bucket's tough anyway, and so I can see why she uses the cups, and they're cheap, they're disposable. But you know, there's what I've found is there's a far better way to do it than putting the pouring medium in cups. Also, her recipes are not how I've used pouring medium. She adds water and all sorts of other things to it. So anyway.
Were you using hypodermics or something like that?
No. What I was using was you can buy like ketchup kind of squeeze bottles.
Similar thing,
Yeah.
It's just a bit thicker.
And you can cut the tip off so that it's whatever size you want it to be. And so you can have a pretty thin line, and then you can get something. You have to move fast. When you're working with pouring medium, time is the enemy. It's going to dry, and once it dries, you're not gonna. There's a point where you can. I guess you just have to use it so you can get that feel for when there's a point you have to stop moving it, or it's going to get wrecked, and then it's devastating because you put so much work into it. And so you really have to plan. Yes, and money.
It is expensive.
You have to plan out ahead of time what you're going to do, what you're going to try to make, and you have your squeeze bottles. You mix individual colors in the squeeze bottles, and you have an idea of how they will mix together. She's using canvas. I would say canvas is not the right thing to be doing this on. You can, and the painting that James was talking about with Elijah at the playground, that one was on canvas, and I pulled it off. It
doesn't run as much, eh?
It doesn't run as much. So you don't, if you want more realistic image, canvas works. If you want less abstract. But Masonite, if you get a smoother surface, wow, you're going to run. It's really, you get some really good movement.
You've got some really good water effects out of that.
I've gotten better effects on the Masonite.
That one with Jesse in the pool center up in Grand Prairie.
Well, the Masonite, the ones that I'm thinking about, I could bring them out sometime. One was my sister sitting in front of a lighthouse. Well, it's her back and her hair and stuff. But, I mean, it's pretty recognizable, but I got a lot of good movement in there because I was doing it on the Masonite. So you paint whatever color you want to paint. You can put that on with acrylics first, or you could paint a design, but you're going to be covering it up with the pouring medium. So probably just gesso. Anyway, and then start pouring. But do it with the squeeze bottles, because then you can get a pretty good drawing. You have to work very, very fast. Very fast. So you have to have your idea, whatever, your sketch, whatever, all planned out before you start squeezing, because you're not going to have much time to be tilting. And she does some interesting things with the hair dryer and this and that in here. But, and I like this that she's done here. This, I'm on page 57 showing James she's using.
That was representation. What was that?
Well, it's like
trowel, like, or something?
Yeah, so she's able to scrape it along.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
She did a good job.
Yeah, this one she pulled off pretty well. I like that effect. And I like her hammer smash effects. That's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The funnel pour, that turns out pretty good. That's on page 64. Anyway, it's worth getting out of the library just because if you're not familiar with pouring medium, you should be. It's so fun. Expensive to use. Never buy somebody else's pouring medium painting, as far as I can tell, because you can do it yourself, and it'll be fun, and it will be every bit as artistic as, well, maybe not your first ones. Your first ones might be junk, and it's expensive, but you're learning.
Very expensive.
But anyway, you're gonna get something. If you're buying an abstract pouring medium painting, do it yourself so you realize just how easy it is to make them, and you can make something just as artistic as they can if it's abstract. If you're doing something like with some sort of realism, or if they have, then maybe that's worth, because it's something different and it's taken some extra skill.
You get very different effects from acrylics or oil paints. You get very different effects from watercolors. You know, they call it a medium, but it's also a different kind of medium.
This is acrylic.
Yeah, it's a different kind of medium.
But you can get, you can do pouring sort of effects with things that aren't acrylic, and I guess I can talk about that with you later too. If I've been really depressed, and it's set me back a lot. Like, I haven't been able to talk about a lot of things that I've wanted to, because I'm really slow rate the past while. But I like this tornado effect. I certainly like it a lot more before it ends up. And that's the thing. If, yeah, that's pretty good, hey? Until that's how it ends up.
This is how it ends up?
Yeah, I know. But it was working really well for her there for a while.
Well, yeah,
and
each
so
one's a different effect.
Yeah.
But,
But yeah, I definitely recommend not the cups. She has cups here. Put them in squeeze tubes. And you want to buy the cheap ones from the dollar store or wherever, because you'll probably have to throw them out pretty quick. Even if you store them in, like if you buy those, I buy those bigger Ziploc bags, that not for food storage, but the ones that you store clothes or whatever in, and then store a whole bunch inside a bag in a Rubbermaid tub, and then it'll keep them from drying out faster. But still, you're going to be throwing those out too, because eventually they're not going to work out for you. So it's expensive. Pouring medium's very expensive. Expect to pay, I think it's about $100 for a bucket, and bucket's not that big. Like, what is it about that?
It doesn't last that long.
It doesn't last that long. So
have a plan, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Have this stuff planned out. I think even if you're doing an abstract, you'd probably want to maybe do some guidelines. I don't know.
Yeah, and another thing she doesn't use in that book is a fork. Plastic fork. That's your best friend for pouring medium. You can, your painting's flat. You can do a lot of designs just with a fork. Just right with it.
She was using a knife, kind of like that, right?
Yeah,
a trowel,
the palette knife sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I, honestly, whatever you use for pouring medium, expect to throw it out. So, I don't know, plastic cutlery or whatever is best, because you're going to toss it. So, Veronica Mars, the complete first season 2019. So what they've done is, if you were a fan of Veronica Mars, and I was, she ended up getting kind of chunky. And honestly, I think they made a movie of it. I can't remember, but anywhere near the end of the Veronica Mars series, way back. I don't remember when that was, but Anyway, I think it was just after Buffy the Vampire Slayer ended up, or something like that. Anyway, it was a while ago. So while they're wrapping up, she's chunky, and you see there's this romantic scene where Logan picks her up to carry her off and make love with her or whatever. And honestly, you just feel sorry for him because she's a big girl at that point, and nobody should do that. Backs are valuable. So anyway, she's lost the weight. Now 2019, the complete first season again. So they've redone this, started up the series again, and she's all grown up, and she looks amazing. And they've gotten a lot of the same regular characters that they had before because it was a good series, and I can see why people wanted to come back to be a part of it. So I would strongly recommend you borrow that from your public library. It was really entertaining. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I look forward to season 2. And I'm not going to give away the ending of season 1, so just watch it. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready to go in. I think that Chinook blew out.